Good morning, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Tuesday, December 3rd at noon, Mountain Time, 2019. The models are in. The bomb cyclone is still stuck in the Northeast, and we're coming off a KP0 day. Human health alerts have been issued. Keep calm. It's boom time. The Northeast starts to dig out after snowstorm drops more than 2 feet in spots. One Massachusetts town has seen snow for 40 hours straight and counting. Holy macaroni. After nearly 2 days of constant snow in some Northeast cities, the first big snowstorm of the winter is drawing to a close. For many in central and western New England, it dropped almost 2 feet of snow, while a few places saw even more. Albany even managed to record one of its top 10 greatest snowstorms ever, as well as the biggest storm so early in the winter season. The snow is set to finally wrap up Tuesday in extreme eastern New England, from down East Maine to Cape Cod. We have some pictures and there's some links to Twitter. And now we have to deal with an atmospheric river entering the west. But we'll get to that. Cindy Fitzgibbon. The storm won't quit. Winter weather advisories have been expanded westward and winter storm warnings have been extended until 1 p.m. as predicted on this channel. That it would bomb out here. Hello. I love it when a plan comes together. Now let's check out the snowfall analysis from the last 24 hours, ending just moments ago. You could see Nashua in Massachusetts through Springfield here. Regions, 12 to 18 inches in the orange. And then we have 8 to 12 through a huge area here. And it's not over. This is just through Tuesday, December 3rd. So we'll check this tomorrow and see how these totals in Providence look. Schools are canceled in Boston, by the way. 2 more rounds of rain, mountain snow ahead in California this weekend. The second blast is going to pummel the north. The first blast is going to bring snow to the southern mountains, but we'll get to the models in a minute. There are 2 rounds of rain and mountain snow ahead for California. One will bring precipitation to the Golden State midweek, and another storm will affect much of the state starting Friday and through your weekend. And when we check those models, you'll see what I'm talking about. Snowiest autumn on record in Great Falls, Montana, more than doubling the previous mark. It was the snowiest meteorological autumn on record in Great Falls, which runs from September 1st through November 30th. According to the National Weather Service data, a whopping 60.4 inches landed in the city during the 3-month period, which is more than 4 times the season average of 13 inches. This year's total also blew away Great Falls' all-time autumn snowfall, the 29.1 inches set back in 1985. Solar minimum of cycle 21 was crushed this year. Heads up if you're in Great Falls. Now here's the bomb cyclone at 975 millibars sitting off the coast and bringing that lashing snow and wind to the coast from Cape Cod all the way north into Maine. It's insane. And here we can see from the precipitation map, the first round coming into California. There's your Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the weekend, a more major system coming into the north. Now we're looking at the west coast here. Heavy amounts of precipitation headed east as well. So, and we might be actually setting ourselves up for a white Christmas in almost every state. Can you imagine? Let's check the snow totals. Here's your Tuesday, Wednesday. Heaviest snow in Maine. Let's pause that. Tuesday, Wednesday, bringing the heaviest snow to Maine up to 16 inches on the eastern side there. Light snow in middle of PA. And then western PA is going to pick up some snow Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the central Appalachians all the way down to Snowshoe in West Virginia as heavy snow starts to fall in the central Sierras and in our region, in the southern mountains of the Rockies. And then that northern system is going to pummel the Sierras with heavy snow and rain in California. And there are the models through December 19th, showing a southern pattern, bringing snow to the southern states. The southeast could see some snow before Christmas. Lake effect snow in Great Lakes. Heavy rain and mountain snow in the southwest U.S. A shot of cold air dropping across the Great Lakes will help generate bands and lake effect snows Wednesday, with the heaviest snowfall likely downwind of Lakes Erie and Ontario. In the west, a new storm will bring localized heavy rain in the lower elevations, with heavy mountain snow across portions of central and southern California and eastward into the Four Corners Wednesday and Thursday. We'll be ready for it. Heavy summer snow buries parts of eastern Australia. I'm sure you've seen the reports. It is meteorological summer, and it is a bummer. Unseasonable cold snap is still delivering significant dumps of summer snow across Victorian Alps, as well as rare flurries as low as Mount William in the Grampians. Many Aussie ski resorts have reported large accumulations of the summer snow over the weekend as ground solar minimum continues its intensification down under. Mount Hotham had a healthy 30-plus centimeters on the ground by Monday morning, with the snow expected to slip another strip on the Barbie through the day. Falls Creek registered 25-plus centimeters, and Mount Buller saw 21-plus centimeters. And if you want to check out more, links will be below. Greenland's surface mass budget gained 14 gigatons over the last 48 hours, pushing the season above the 1981-2010 average. Did you see the headline on CNN? Neither did I. Surface mass budget in Greenland showed an 8 gigaton followed by a 6 gigaton day over the last 48 hours. That is 14 gigatons of mass gain. And if you can see here, the light gray area is all data recorded ever since 1981. And that spike is a new record for the date. And that's today's first boom before we get to the French fries. Where are we? Get ready to pay more for spuds as French fry frenzy and poor harvest sap supplies in North America. Almost 20% of Manitoba's crop is in the ground rotting or frozen, however you want to look at it. The combination of rising French fry demand and damaged crops will lead to tight supplies, and it's likely that potato prices will climb and your portion will be shrinkified. French fries aren't that good for you anyway. Ontario Energy Minister cites climate change denial blog in defense of scrapping green energy product. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are winning, at least in Canada. Now back to the estimated planetary K index. This is an index of geomagnetic activity, and when it falls to 0, that means we're very quiet, and that allows cosmic rays to cascade in upon us, causing evolution and freaking some people out. Now, cosmic ray alerts happen when the KP is at 0, and a cosmic ray KP 0 day means that there will be mass shootings and other crazy shit happening all day today worldwide. We'll report on it tomorrow. Here's your cosmic ray risks in the center: acute myocardial infarction, cerebral stroke, terminal arrhythmia, anxiety, stress, emotional instability, cognitive diminution, uptick in traffic accidents, work injuries, suicide risk, mental disorder flare-ups, radiation risk. If you're flying at high latitudes, oh my goodness, today's a bad day. I got to thank Ben Davidson over Space Weather News for this graph. He produced this years ago, and it is still relevant and will be relevant forever. Now, if you want some proof that what I say is true, here's a long-term study of heart rate variability responses to changes in the solar and geomagnetic environment. This paper coming out February 2018. The long-term study examined relationships between solar and magnetic factors and the time course and lags of the autonomic nervous system, the ANS, responses to changes in solar and geomagnetic activity. And you can read it. Here's the introduction in English, and it's the full paper. So dive in and see what we're in store for moving forward. Seismic update, 1 quake of note. Well, actually 2. 6.0 in Arica, Chile, and a pretty large frac quake in Kansas. Ew. Worldwide volcano news update. Fuego news and eruption update. Fuego, Guatemala, continued explosive activity. In a recent report over the last day or so, Fuego produced 10 to 13 weak to moderate explosions per hour that threw ash columns to heights of 4,600 to 4,700 meters. That's up to 15,420 feet above sea level. These ash columns were dispersed 15 to 20 kilometers to the west and southwest. Ashfall occurred near areas of Panemache, Moriela, that's my last name, Santa Sofia, El Povnier, Palo Verde Farm, San Pedro, Yepo COPPA, and other areas. During the night, lava flows were observed towards Senzia Ravine with an approximate length of 600 meters. So Fuego is anything but asleep. And we have Santa Rito, Pacaya, Fuego, Popo, Ibu, Ducono, Reventador, and Sakurajima on the list, with Sabancaya taking the height prize at 27,000 feet. Now, if you're part of the frenzy that all think that on December 12th, YouTube's going to shut every channel down because of COPPA, maybe you didn't look into what COPPA is. Now, I've been trying to figure out what all these alarmists whose heads are popping off are talking about, and I haven't figured it out. COPPA is the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. It's a law created to protect the privacy of children under 13, and now it's going to be enforced with an iron fist because of the nature of pedophilia in our country. It's disgusting. And someone's taking action. And I love COPPA. It's going to require sites' parental consent for the collection or use of any personal information for children's website users. They're looking for pedophiles. What must be included in a privacy policy, including the requirements that the policy itself be posted, when and how to seek verifiable consent from a parent or guardian, and what responsibilities the operator of a website legally holds with regards to children's privacy and safety online, including restrictions on the types and methods of marketing targeting those under 13. Now, at the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, we're a science channel that is edgy, and we're also a comedy channel. And in no way is my channel to be shown to children for any reason. That's not why we make these shows. They're for adults. So if you make shows for adults exclusively, then you don't have to worry about COPPA, in my opinion. If you can send me some other information that says otherwise, I'd be happy to look at it. But I can't find it. Now, maybe it's all those channels, they're worried about that they're pedophiles, and they're worried about all the kiddie sites that they watch going down. But I don't have time to watch anything but my own channel, barely. And maybe a little Ice Age Farmer and DAT 2030. And I do watch Ben every morning, if I remember. But COPPA, not so much worried about that. I love COPPA. Because what is happening, what happened to me in my childhood, and what happens to almost half the population of the youth is abuse. And it needs to end. Now, also, there's a lot of you with your heads popping off because the November data is showing 0.55 degrees C above baseline. Let's talk about the natural climate variability on our planet. You're looking at one of the cycles here. This is the UAH satellite-based temperature of the global lower atmosphere. And you can see here there's 3 to 5 year cycles. And we're following the running centered 13-month average here. There's these 3 to 5 year cycles that go on again and again and again, and they don't stop. Every 3 to 5 years, there's a peak. And all of the peaks happen January, February, March, the beginning of the year. Here's a February peak. Here's a November peak. Right at this solstice is where these peaks happen, which is on the line. That would be the December-January line, December-January line, December-January line. And so we're in a peak here at the turn of the year. So we would expect after this year, the next 1.5 or 2 years to drop down like every other cycle on this graph. And where it drops down to, nobody knows. We predict it to hit baseline this year, 2020, down here. And then in 2021, it'll go back up a little and peak again and then drop back down because it needs to go through the cycle to continue to drop down. Here you see there's 1, 2, 3 cycles for it to go almost a degree. So I would expect the next decade to do the same as I just showed you there. Here's a peak. Let's correlate it to this peak. So we're going to see a continuous drop down. It's natural climate variability. There is no linear warming here related to CO2 or you. It's not you. It's not CO2. It's the sun. Now, have you heard of World War Zero? Powerful forces are denying the climate crisis and standing in the way of policy changes that could save the planet. Join World War Zero to end the climate crisis and move us towards our critical goal, achieving net zero carbon emissions. Now, this is the stupidest thing ever because carbon dioxide is plant food. And if you remove carbon dioxide from the planet, because we're at the all-time lowest carbon dioxide in geologic history, you will kill the planet. You'll kill the planet. And now CO2-eating bacteria made in the lab could help kill the planet faster. And here the headline says, tackle climate change, scientists claim. What if this CO2 bacteria goes rogue? What if it mutates because of the cosmic rays? And what if it starts eating all the CO2 and it chokes out our forests? What if? Did you know life on Earth is nearly doomed by too little CO2 once? During the last ice age, too little atmospheric carbon dioxide almost eradicated mankind and all life. Aside from protests by Al Gore, Leonardo DiCaprio, and friends, the public didn't seem to raise its CO2 anguish much above the Russians' election frenzy when Trump exited the Paris Climate Accords. Statistician Bjorn Lomborg had already pointed out that the Paris CO2 emission promises would cost $100 trillion. $100 trillion. And even if possible, would barely affect the temperature by 5/100ths of a degree. That's undetectable, which means it would never happen. And what few realize is that during the last ice age, too little carbon dioxide in the air almost eradicated mankind. When much colder water in the oceans that were 400 feet shallower today sucked most of the carbon dioxide from the air itself. Half of North America, Europe, and Asia were buried under a mile-high glacier and obliterated anything in their paths. Bitterly cold temperatures further retarded plant growth. In fact, Earth's atmosphere had only 180 parts per million CO2, the lowest ever in geologic history, compared to today's lush 400 parts per million. But our target is more like 1,000. That would be optimum for life. 1,500. Removing carbon dioxide is the stupidest idea ever. Now, there is some good news on the sun front. We pointed out the fact that cosmology is dead and that the nuclear fusion model of the sun is kind of bogus because the atmosphere of the sun is 14 million degrees while the surface only 7,000. But a new study from Queen's University Belfast has led an international team to the groundbreaking discovery of why it's hot in the corona. And they say that it's the sun's magnetic waves strengthen and grow and hit some kind of barrier where it resonates and heats. Now, this is a good idea. It's actually probably the best idea to explain the conundrum. Keep calm today. KP0 warning is in effect. I hope you got something out of the video. There is scientific evidence that corroborates everything we say on this channel because I'm a scientist. Period. We love you. Be safe.